Okay, so now I'm going to set the machine up, and you can hear it running, and when I'm setting it up, while I'm setting it up, I'll give you a bit of a tour of the machine. So forgive me, because this is going to be a little disjointed, hands are going to be going places, you're going to be on the stand, off the stand probably. Yeah, it's not going to be quite as tidy as we'd like it to be, but first of all, we're going to come over here and we're going to look at our block. Now, because we're measuring inches, that's 7.5 inches. I want about an inch off the back, maybe a bit more. I want an inch off the front, so we're going to go to about 10 inches off the front. So I want to stop at about 10 inches. I want to come back at about 1.5 inches. I could go to an inch, but I'm going to go to 1.5 inches. So I want about 10 inches of stroke. So what we'll do now is we'll go and adjust the stroke. This here's the stroke indicator. We'll try and get it in the centre. We'll zoom in. We'll make sure we... okay. This is the stroke indicator. It's still half full of dirt, but in the centre there's kind of sort of a bit of a notch to tell me where it is. So at the moment we're about 9 and a bit inches. So what we'll do is we'll zoom you out and we'll move you back a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Now what I'm doing is, if you watch this slot here, hopefully you can see it, as I crank that, that's back to 8 inches, 6 inches, 4, obviously I'm going the wrong way, I know that. That's actually past 0. So that's 0 inches there. So in theory, if I pull the lever now, nothing will happen. So we've got slightly more than 0 inches. Although, yeah, see you can't see the handles coming around. You'll see the handle coming to shot in a minute. So, because I'm back past 0, so what I'm doing now is it's actually adjusting the stroke while it's running. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come up to 10 inches. Now I'm being a bit careful, because what I'm actually doing is I'm watching what's going on at the front of the machine, and I'm watching what's going on at the back of the machine. Because what I'm worried about is I'm worried about this coming back and crashing. I'm worried about it going too far forward and hitting my setup and knocking it off the front. So we're at 1.5. We're now at 10 inches. So as you can see, we're going back too far. We're not far enough forward. So what I'm going to do, doesn't matter whether I do this fully back or fully forward, but in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fully forward. The reason I'm going fully forward is because this is where I'm worried about my collision happening. I'm worried about a collision out here. I'm not worried about it crashing at the back. I'm worried about it crashing at the front. So what do? I loosen this off, and yes, you can see it. You can see the ram's moving back. Now what I'm doing here is I'm moving the ram forward, and here we go. I want 1 inch off the front. So 1 inch off the front is actually the thickness of my tool steel. So that is now off the front. So we'll come back here and we'll lock the ram into position. So the next question is, let's bring this back a bit. Okay. I don't need it running to show you the next bit. What I'll do is I'll turn you off because I'll probably have to make this into a few separate videos. So what I'll do is I'll turn you off and we might have to come back in another video, we might not. Okay, what we're looking at here is the feed rate adjuster. And the feed is determined here. Now, minimum feed is 10 thou, maximum feed is 170 thou in 10 thou increments. So that's 30 thou. So that's a 30 thou cross feed. So we'll start on about 30 thou. Only because I don't know the machine. And once I get to know the machine, well, we can always crank it up. While we're here, this is the gearbox. Down here we have our feed rates. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay fairly slow to start with. We're on a 10-inch stroke. So what we'll do is we'll just start, I don't know, maybe 21 to 32, maybe 32 strokes a minute. Oh, sorry guys. So we're on a 10-inch stroke. So we might start about 32 strokes per minute. And we'll see how that goes. So what we'll do, so we want A 32 will give us 70 feet per minute. So, sorry, you want B 32, so B 32. So we're on B and 32. So we've got that bit set up. Now, next question is can we get down to the surface? And the answer is yes. What we have here is we have a very, very bad setup. See how much is hanging out? What that means is I have to be very, 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 very careful. Now, on the side of the head here, we can see, oh, I can see, maybe you can't. Hang on a sec, I'll clean it up a bit and then you'll be able to see too. Okay, bit of a rub with a bit of emery and a bit of a wipe off with a bit of rag. And what we're looking at here is the protractor on the side of the head. Now what I haven't done is we haven't checked it yet to check it for index. And as you can see, as you can't see, we're about 2 degrees off vertical. I might just for the purpose of the exercise, I might actually adjust that. So I'll put you back on the stand and we'll make an adjustment. Now, the beauty of this spanner is that it fits everything on this machine. So, I'm just loosening this off the fraction. And we can argue all day about whether it's on the right way or it's on the wrong way. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter, not for what we're doing. Lift this up a little bit, and that's a fraction too tight. That is indicating exactly 0 there. I'll wind this up a bit. So the clapper box is off. Yep. Now, I heard that hit the deck. There it is. I'll clean this stuff up here before we start cutting. There's a few schools of thought. Not a few schools of thought. There's a lot of schools of thought. Make sure that's tight. There's a lot of schools of thought on how a clapper box should work, and whether you're working in the right direction or the wrong direction, or the left direction or the right direction, or how you should have it leaned over. But the basic principle is that when it's cutting, you want your tool to swing clear. So in theory, as if I'm cutting this way, I want my tool to swing clear as it comes back across. So if I'm cutting in this direction, and I'm looking at it the wrong way, so if I'm cutting in this direction, as the head travels, I need it, because it's going to come this way, I need the clapper box to let it do this. Because if I set it up the other way, as it tries to move across, what it does is it will make it dig in, so it's got to swing up and clear. So if you take that, it'll swing up and clear. Now when in doubt, straight up always comes clear. But when you're cutting dovetails, it becomes very, very important to make sure that you've got it working in the right direction. So you've got to think that when you're cutting up, down, around the corner, that it's got to swing clear while it's cutting your dovetails. When you're cutting keyways, you lock the clapper box and you wait till it gets right back, and then you wind it down tooth out, and then it goes in. And you wait for it to come right back, and you wind it down tooth out, and it goes in. If you get your timing wrong, well, get used to sharpening tools and fixing problems. Breaking stuff, throwing stuff out of the setup. Yeah, it gets pretty ugly. Now, we're round the back here. This feed here is the vertical feed. So, when I say vertical feed, it selects vertical feed or horizontal feed. So at the moment, we're pointing downward on horizontal feed. Because I've got my vertical slide locked, basically the knee is locked from going up and down, it would be a very bad thing now if I go to vertical feed. I suspect there's probably a safety clutch in the machine. I haven't got a manual on it yet. I've asked some people about a manual. It hasn't come yet. Now, what we also have, this here, this bit here, is hand feed, power feed. Now, this is the direction the cut goes. So when the arrow's going that way, the table's coming the opposite way. Right? It's backwards. This isn't the direction of the way the table's going. This is the direction of the cut. So, up here, we're not going to use this for this job at the moment. This rod here is the feed for the, it's the power feed for the tool carrier. Now, that's neutral and that's in gear. That's in float, in gear. So there's a little thing up the top here which says use no, I think it says use no oil. No oil to be used in this or on this something shaft, on this box or box and shaft, I think it is. It's buried under paint, I can't read it properly. But basically you don't oil it. It needs a bit of a clean up, it's got plenty of rust on it. You can lube this bit up in here. You undo this collar and you move it forward to make your adjustments to the amount of stroke that you're going to get. I think that it is 10 thou per, there we go. I think these are 10 thou, so that one there might be 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, and that would line up with about what I was seeing when I was doing my test runs on it, because it goes about 65 thou on a full revolution. As you can see, someone's pushed it right back, or they haven't done it up tight. It seems to be tight, but it's pushed right back at the moment. So now we're about ready to actually try to make a cut. Just before I start doing anything, I'm just going to wind this down till it touches. Okay, now my gap's closed up. What's happened here is I've got a gap. As I wind it back, my gap's gone away. So for all intents and purposes, that's 0. I'm setting 0 up here. Now that I have 0, I'm up minus 30. Shall we try it? Should we get close to 0 now? That's where I had 0 set. I forgot something. This is for you, Emma. So I'm going to do this cut here is 20 thou. Let's see what happens. There's too much deflection on that. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to go with the other tool. So, what do we see? We're not doing as much here as what we'd like to. So what we'll do is we'll take I've gone down another 20. So we're now at 40 thou. And change the feed direction. Now this tool is pretty happy to cut both ways because it hasn't got a lot of. I'll turn this camera so I can see what you're looking at. It hasn't got a lot of angle on it. Now, when these tools are cutting the way I like them to, and the way they should do, this is now cutting in the right direction. See, it's predominantly pushing the chip off to the right, and look at how hot that chip is. I don't know if you can see it. Those chips are coming off smoking. Is that tool is close to neutral, or even negative. And when the chips come off that hot, what it does is they're pretty kind to the tool actually, because they're oh, that's really nice. Because they're actually a pretty easy cut. Now you see that working. You understand why you don't want too much back rake on it. Now we're going to go to, this is only a 20 thou cut at the moment, it's about to go to 40 thou, which is 1 mil. And what we have there is we have a slipping belt. So what I've done now is we're back to 12 strokes a minute, and you just see it peel that out. Actually, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to see if I can get you a really good shot of it, because where I'm standing, it looks really good. Hopefully we can get the camera to zoom in nice and close and keep it in focus. No, not as good as I'd like it to be. Let's see if this one works. That's a 1 mil deep cut there. So, let's go wide. The shallower high cut's nicer than the nicer than our later cut. Now, that there is our 1/2 mil cut at 44 strokes a minute. The chip's got quite a profile on it. This here's our low speed chip at 12 strokes a minute. Notice that it's actually straw in colour. I don't know if you can see it, it's actually blue in here. Straw to blue. Again, it's not quite as nice a chip as this. This one here is blue. This one here, it was blue. You can see it was blue coming off. But what it's actually done is this chip's basically come off as a melted chip, where this one's sort of been torn out. You can see it's been torn out, and you actually see it in the finish. Take off the stand and we'll give you a look.